Hello Flosstube and welcome to my channel. My name is Angela. This is Flosstube number 32 and I just want to say a big warm welcome to everybody that is new to my channel and welcome back to anybody who has been with me for a little while. I cannot believe this is number 32. This sort of 9 months or so since I've been doing my Flosstube channel has just whizzed by, and it was about a year ago that I found Flosstube and brought back my absolute love for stitching. I'd had a bit of a break from stitching and I can't begin to tell you how much it's helped me during this awful year that we've had. So I do hope you are all keeping safe and well. Here in the UK we've started to open up a bit more. Non-essential shops opened yesterday. I haven't ventured out yet. I thought I'd wait for everybody else to go and then I'll go in the next few weeks. Just because, yeah, I just literally have not been shopping, haven't bought any clothes in a year, which is so unlike me. So I can't wait to start getting my new summer wardrobe. And talking of weather, my goodness, the weather has been bonkers this week here in the UK. So yesterday, it was like a winter's morning. We had snow. And then in the afternoon, we had glorious sunshine as though it was like a lovely spring sunny day. Absolutely bonkers. Wherever you are in the world, if your weather is absolutely bonkers for your time of year as well, please tell me in the comments below, because I'd love to hear. So this week has been all about learning new things. I watch a lot of Flosstube and I have been watching a lot of Stitch With Me's because I'm really keen on doing my own Stitch With Me. Just not quite sure yet how to do it and how you guys set it up. So again, if you can help me with that in the comments, that would be great, because I've had a couple of practice runs and it's not great, and it's certainly not very easy to stitch. So all of you that do Stitch With Me's, you make it look so seamless. So I'd love to hear how you do it. So anyway, I've learned so much this week that I've put some of it into practice, and I will share that with you as I go along with my stitching that I've got here to show you. So let's get into it then. So the first one that I've been working on is different from my Heaven and Earth, still full coverage. It is the Gold Collection Petites and it's called Santa's Secret. That's what it will look like. And yes, I know it's not Christmas time. I did start this before Christmas. Or was it just after Christmas, I think, for last Christmas. And I really wanted to just get it done for this Christmas. So this is where, oh, loose thread there. This is where it's at now. So I've got Santa's face, and I was working on the face and I thought this doesn't look right, and then when I put the eyes in, that's when it came together. So I'm just going to keep filling in this page. I'm going to do the back stitching and then I'm going to move across the next bit. So I'm kind of doing it in quadrants really. But basically this has had 5 hours of work on it. I did a couple of hours on it and I just couldn't put it down because, like I say, I was trying to get the face done, and yeah, it's just really come alive. And this gorgeous needle minder here, this one is from Chapel View Crafts. You'll notice I've got another one of theirs. I love these ones, especially these foodie ones, because when I look at this plate of biscuits, it puts me off. I just think, oh yeah, there's my biscuits, and I just carry on stitching, because I like to nibble on a biscuit. So, anyway, yes, back to this. So 5 hours. This is stitched on 18 count 2/1, and I did do my own gridding on this one. But yeah, really loving how this is coming out. Now, part of the learning started with this design really, because for anybody that's ever done a dimensions kit, you'll know that the floss for it literally comes on these cards and it just like sort of hangs down like that, and you can see where I've sort of cut it. And what I did was I put it on, this is just an old cereal box cut up. I made my own like thread drop cards because it was just getting to the point where I was like, I don't know what to do with these random threads really. So I made my own like thread drop cards, and I'd seen that when people that were doing their stitch with me, when they had their thread like this, they were literally hooking their needle in and pulling on one strand very gently from the sort of this sort of loopy part. Don't know if you can see what I mean. That's this kind of loopy part here. They were getting their needle in and just pulling, and oh my goodness, what a game changer. So I'm really liking having them on these thread drops. So that was the start of that, and I will tell you a bit more about the thread drops. But that was one of the things that I learned this week, was when you put them on like this, you can just literally just hook it in. You don't even have to take these out from you don't even have to unhook these. You can literally just pull it gently and one strand will come, or however many strands you want. Now this is technically stitched, like I say, it's on 18 count 2/1. There is a lot of half stitches, and like for example the black in Santa's eyes, that's 4 strands. So you have to be very careful with these dimension kits as to whether you're doing full cross, half stitch, how many strands, because it can vary. And there's also what you call it, like combined threads, you know, where you merge like 2 colours together to do some crosses. So in the face here you've got a couple of blended, that's what I'm thinking, blended colours as well. So that's Santa. So that one was used for one of my challenges, for Enchanted Stitching challenges. I think it was one of the weekly challenges that I used that for. Then you may recall that I talked about my mini Princess of the Sea. This is what it will look like. This is by Donna Gelsinger, and as you remember I started it on 25 count. I was doing it 2/1 on 10 stitch, and I just got to a point and I just decided, no, I don't want to do this anymore. Ordered more material, got my 20 count, which is definitely my sweet spot for material, and I restarted. And again, something else I just could not put down this week. And here is my restart. And already, as soon as I was doing it, I was like, yeah, this is it. This is, I prefer this so much. Now, you may notice that I'm not stitching this diagonally, and again, watching Stitching Mummy, Sarah, how she stitches is she gets one strand of a colour and just literally just goes along and just does one strand of colour at a time. And again, because I was restarting this, I always bobbinate my floss, and I've still bobbinated my floss. I've got a box for each project with bobbinated floss, but what I did was I got thread drops for all of my ones that I'm doing diagonally and this one, and I've literally cut one piece, one strand off, one bit of floss off, and then weave that through my thread drop so that I can use that, and then when that one runs out I'll replace that, so I'm not constantly undoing bobbins and putting them back on. I don't want to put all of my floss onto thread drops. I'm quite happy to do it for projects, but I don't want to keep my floss that way. I would rather keep my floss on bobbins and just cut off however much I need. So that is what I've done for this one, and again worked really well, because when I was doing one colour at a time, because I literally just did it how she does it, just picked one colour and just did, yeah, one bit at a time, and then I'm just filling all the gaps really, and just working across. I'm being a good girl, I'm doing the sky, not moved down to the Little Mermaid girl yet, so trying to be a good girl with it anyway. So this is obviously stitched on 20 count, and I did 7 hours, which was 1,272 stitches. So I'm now at 1.61%. And when I was previously doing it, I got up to 5,548 stitches and 7.03%. So yeah, well on the way to catching up with that already. So I don't know if I'll catch up with it by the end of the month, but we'll see. So this is where the next bit of learning came in. I don't know if you can see. There are just here a couple of pin stitches to finish the thread. Again, on these Flosstube videos that I was watching, a lot of the Flosstubers were using a pin stitch to finish the thread. So I thought I'll give that a go, and my goodness, how much better is that? I don't know why I'd sort of discounted it before really, but so I'm now trying to finish as much as possible with these pin stitches, and it works out really well. I think I was nervous about stitching over them and making sure that it was covered, and yeah, I can't see any of my pin stitches at all. So really loving this piece once again, and I can't wait to get a bit more done on that one. So the next thing that I worked on was my temperature tree. As I said, I follow Sarah's Stitching Mummy's Flosstube, and I saw last year she was doing her temperature tree, which is this one, and I really wanted to do that this year. She is now currently stitching a typography for the weather, and I'm going to do that one next year. So my one is stitched on 20 count, and it's an ice blue Ada, and I haven't quite got caught up on all the leaves, but I have done the April branch. So I'm getting there with catching up. It's just the leaves I just need to catch up on now. So as long as I can do that before the end of April, I'll be really pleased. And if I can get a May branch in, then yeah, or May and June branch, happy days. But that's where my one is at the moment. And I just literally spent 1 hour on it. That's all I've spent so far this week on that one. So then my next one, my confetti heavy World Travel Bookshelf. This is by Amy Stewart, and I think I mentioned last week that I was hoping to do half an hour every day, which meant I would do 3 rows because I'm stitching this diagonally in a 20 stitches on each row, so that would give me 60 stitches in that half an hour. And it was working out fine, and I was like, yeah, that's no problem, I can carry on doing that. I don't know what happened this week, but time just ran away with me, and I think I only actually spent 2 hours on this project, and here it is. These ribbons. When I move this, I think I'm going to take these ribbons off because they do get in the way a little bit. Oh, and just what I say, this other needle minder is from Chapel View Crafts as well. So yeah, that's where I'm up to. A lot of confetti. Literally every stitch is like a different colour. And I know I've got these sort of waist knots here, but again, I'm going in with these pin stitches. So these will all go and it'll be pin stitches. So yeah, but I am really loving how it's coming out. I know I'm sort of going on about the confetti, which I think this will be a project like that. It will be a confetti heavy project. But yeah, I'm really loving how it's turning out. So this is what I'm talking about with these thread drops. So I've got 1 strand on each colour on these thread drops, and then I just take 1 piece out to use, and then if I have any spare, if I use it and then I don't have any more stitches nearby, I just put that thread back on there as well. And it's working really well, especially for these confetti heavy pieces when I'm doing diagonal stitching, because I don't have to keep winding bobbins. So Really liking these so far. And I got these thread drops from Amazon. They're really quite inexpensive. I think I got 2 lots, so I think I thought it was 20 of these altogether, and I think I paid £11 for them. So really not that expensive at all. And I had these like little ring things already. Ooh. And literally you can just undo them and then take off the thread drops and just close them back up like that, so they all stay together. So that was literally 2 hours worth of work, 180 stitches, and I'm at 1.08%. And this weekend there is Confetti Conquistadors, I don't know if I've said that right, probably not, weekend on Full Coverage Fanatics, so I'll be using that piece for that. I'm also using this piece for the 21,000 stitches in 2021 for Full Coverage Fanatics as well. I'm a little bit behind, but I'm catching up with that, and I think by the time I've had this weekend I will definitely be well on the way to catching up, because by the end of April I should have done 7,000 stitches on this, and I think I'm about 5,000, so about 2,000 left to go. So if I can get 1,000 done this weekend, I'll be really happy. So that's that one. It's actually very, very heavy with all the extra material. So I'm glad I have my stand that I do my stitching on, because otherwise there's no way I could hold that in my hand. And credit to you guys that are stitchers that stitch in hand with things like this, because that material, like I say, is very heavy. So my last piece that I stitched on was what I call my Pink Fairy, which is Faces of Fairy by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. Faces of Fairy 178. This is what it will look like. I think it's so cute. And again, this was used for one of the weekly challenges in Enchanted Stitching Challenges. And this is also stitched diagonally. Just move these threads. And this is where we're up to. So I just did the top bit of the diagonal, and I've just done 2 hours on that this week, but it is looking really quite good. And this is the end of the design. But before I did diagonal stitching, I was literally trying to work across and then work down, but I changed to diagonal stitching and I much prefer it. And look how it's just amazing how the picture's just coming out to life. So like I say, this is 2 hours stitched on 20 count, 2 over 1, and I'm now at 12.20% on this one. So yeah, hopefully I'll be doing a little bit more on that one this week. So my plans for this week coming, as you can see, lots of stitching done this week. Planning on doing lots of stitching in the week coming. I do have a new start and I want to continue working on my Enchanted Stitching Challenges. I'm doing the weekly and monthly challenges. So I've just got 2 more weekly challenges to do for this week, and I've got some monthly challenges I'd love to do as well, so that I'm on track for that. So I cannot wait to get stitching for this week, really. So I hope you guys have a great week stitching as well, and I look forward to seeing you next time. So take care, guys. Bye for now.